Stakes for 3-year-olds and the Journey 1400.
Set to run. All in for the fourth, and they're off and racing. Pin-Up Boy a little slow on the inside. Picket Fence and Volatant, the first two out. Now Pin-Up Boy pushes through on the inside rail. Krasky settles fourth from Garbo Storm. Then Biological King on the outside. 2 lengths further back is Rockethoko, who's got back on the inside from Settle the Score and 2 to Binding. Volatant King out wide. Then Pin-Up Boy right behind the leading bunch, holding fourth on the inside from Krasky, and they're trailed then as they swing for home by Garbo Storm. Rockethoko a long way back on the inside. Binding's pulled out wide and Settle the Score. So it's Volatant for home, leading from Picket Fence and Biological King. Just behind that leading division, Krasky's being ridden along aggressively, and then Pin-Up Boy, who's under the whip. Rockethoko the inside. Binding is starting to work home the widest. Still Volatant has a kick and leads about a half a length from Picket Fence. Binding still running home. Krasky battles only at the 150. Volatant to the neck in front. Picket Fence is staying with him all of the way, and Binding making ground. He is coming with big bounds now. Binding, he went straight past them. He's a good horse all right. Binding came away. Smart win. Binding beat Picket Fence, drawing away by more than a length. Volatant third, and then a break to Rockethoko together with Garbo Storm. Krasky seemed to really struggle in the ground today. Then Pin-Up Boy settled the score.
Only its third start today. Binding gives Corey Brown a winning treble, and that's a Taunt 4, 2 and 9 on the Interlink Stakes.
Who's been kept very safe on and off track. Binding supported on track, very similar on and off, but it is being well supported on track. Kistadan number 9, near enough on and off, and that's pretty well the best. The next best would be Tara's Halls number 12, a little bit of value at about $15, but they're backing the favourite, Matt, for the Sandown Guineas, where we have a Melbourne caller calling all the action. Oh, here's a move too.
Signal racing in the Guineas. Left in a very good line too. Elmaher, one of the first to bounce out here from Ken Grondy and barely a moment. Rockford Bay getting up on the inside, and Light of Prosperity starting to push forward. Ken Grondy just off them when they settle. Light of Prosperity, Tara's Hall, Lords are Leaping, and Binding is last of all when they settle in the Guineas. Light of Prosperity are 1, Lords are Leaping, a half Tara's Hall, and Binding last of all at the 800 metre mark, the halfway mark, 15 lengths from the lead. Light of Prosperity led 3/4, Elmaher. Then Rockford Bay under some pressure on the outside, Silent Action. Barely a moment back, 5th in the middle. Then came Volatant out deep. A length further back, Spirit of Tara, followed over on the inside by Shadow Park, Tara's Hall, Ken Grondy and Binding last of all, given a crack with a whip there as they turn for home. Down to the 500 metre mark, Light of Prosperity from Elmaher, then Rockford Bay. Barely a moment from Kistadan the rail. Further back, Light Action. Binding still about 8 to 9 lengths off them. Volatant down the middle with also Tara's Hall, and Binding starting to wind up. He's coming with a run now. Barely a moment getting out after the leader, Elmaher. And here comes Binding. He's coming with a withering run with Volatant in the middle. The leader, Elmaher. Binding's got them though. He's charged to the front, Binding from Elmaher. And Binding, what a brilliant galloper he is. Binding wins it. 3/4 to either barely a moment or Elmaher. Fourth home is Lords are Leaping out wide, followed by Kistadan. Then Light of Prosperity from Elmaher, then Rockford Bay. Barely a moment from Kistadan the rail. Further back, Light Action. Binding still about 8 to 9 lengths off them. Volatant down the middle with also Tara's Hall, and Binding starting to wind up. He's coming with a run now. Barely a moment getting out after the leader, Elmaher, and here comes Binding. He's coming with a withering run with Volatant in the middle. The leader, Elmaher. Binding's got them though. He's charged to the front, Binding from Elmaher. And Binding, what a brilliant galloper he is. Binding wins it. 3/4 to either barely a moment or Elmaher. Fourth home is Lords are Leaping out wide, followed by Kistadan. Then further back was Volatant from Rockford Bay.
Race taken out by Binding, number 5, barely a moment, and Elmaher 5, 1 and 2. 8 runners.